Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and this is a preview of the Sony A9 sports camera. So what I want to do right now is run through the different specs, tell you what I think about them, but as always, you are free to leave comments down below with what you think about the specs, and while you're at it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, and here we go. We have a 24.2 megapixel full frame sensor, but what's different about this one is it is a stacked Cmos sensor, which they are saying is the first of its kind in any camera. Now what that does is it enables data processing transfers at 20 times faster than what they were able to do previously. Now that is a big deal because moving a lot of data is highly important, especially when you're doing sports. So this camera shoots at 20 frames a second with no blackout. Now that's because it utilizes an electronic shutter more so than a mechanical shutter. It does have a mechanical shutter in there for if you want to shoot with flash. It does have the sync of, I believe, 1/250th of a second, but it's primarily meant to be a camera for using the electronic shutter, which is completely silent, which is definitely interesting, and I loved using it in some of the cameras that I've used it in before. Now, one of the things that people have complained about in the past with those is getting some distortion. Now, Sony says that you will have distortion-free images. You won't have bending, say, of a golf club with this camera, but we'll have to see when we get to use it. Now, let's see, what else do we have? You can shoot up to 241 RAW files in a row. Remember, 20 frames a second adds up very quick, especially when you're shooting those raw, uncompressed 14 bits. You're going to run through a lot of files and a lot of storage, and you're going to have to do a lot of editing as well. But if it gets you the shot, so be it. It gets you the shot. Having no viewfinder blackout is a big deal because you can continually follow your subject as well as the focus can continue to focus. That's not something that you see in the Nikons or the Canons because they all have mirrors and the Sonys do not. Let's see. Oh yeah, all with continuous AF, I just said. 693 AF points, which is 93% coverage. That is a ton of autofocus points. I know they added a joystick to the back, so hopefully you can move through them quickly in different patterns so that you can pick where you want to focus, because with that many focus points, you kind of want to be able to pick certain ones yourself from time to time. ISO range 100 to 51,200, expandable up to 204,800. I'm sure that's going to be perfectly fine. Sony has crushed it in that department in the past. You now have a 3,686,000 dot EVF. I think that's 3.68 million something dot EVF at 120 frames a second. So EVFs are incredible. I love using them. I love being able to see the exposure as I'm shooting to see what needs to be changed. It's a tremendous evolution, and you know, Sony and Nikon are falling behind in this department heavily. It has 5-axis in-body stabilization, which Nikon and Canon also don't have, and this means that Sony doesn't have to put it into their lenses, or if they do, they will work in conjunction with each other. That is a major thing to have 5-axis in-body stabilization because that makes every lens that you put on it stabilized. For video, for photos, that is a big deal. Full frame, full sensor, 4K at 30 frames a second, downsampled from 6K. Now that is a huge deal to have a box, and when I say box, a camera that can shoot full K, taking a full readout from the entire sensor, unlike what Nikon does and unlike what Canon did with the 5D Mark IV. This is a huge deal to have a tremendous camera with capabilities for shooting sports, for tremendous autofocus, for 20 frames a second, and it doubles as an incredible camera that shoots 4K video. Dual SD card slots. One of my major complaints with Sony has been the fact that it has one card slot, while this camera now has two, with one of them being UHS 2. Now that's going to be great for the transfer rates when it comes to shooting the video, but also when you're shooting 20 frames a second, you need to have fast transfer rates to keep up with being able to shoot that. But lucky for everybody out there, Lexar makes inexpensive SD cards that are professional and fast, so you might as well use that. A 3-inch tilting touch LCD. Love the fact that it's touch LCD. Tilting is fine if you're going to hold it above your head. It works. It gets the job done. It seems to be the norm for all Sony cameras now. And it has a new battery because that has been a major complaint with Sony's, where the batteries just seem to drain fast, quick, and they're pretty bad. This says that it's 2.2 times better. You can also get a grip that allows you to put 2 batteries in at a time, and even if the batteries aren't as good as what Canon and Nikon are putting out, batteries are inexpensive. So what? You need to carry an extra couple to get the job done. You do what you need to do right there, and the price is $4,500, and it's going to be available in May. Now, I'm blown away by the specs of this camera. As a sports photographer, as a music photographer who likes to shoot action, I would love to get my hands on this to see if that 20 frames a second is good, to see if that the autofocus is tremendous. If I'm able to get tight autofocus in situations where I wasn't able to get it before with mirrorless cameras, this could be a camera that will make a lot of sports photographers switch from the Nikons to from the Canons and the Nikons to the Sonys. This is a big deal. The one shortcoming that Sony still has falls into the glass range. They now have a 24 to 70, they have a 70 to 200, they have some 85s, they have some bigger glass coming. This is what it's going to take to have professionals switch over, is having the glass, the ultra wide angles like the 11 to 24, the 14 to 24s. All of those different lenses are what pros are going to want to have. I think this is a tremendous offering. I can say nothing bad about this announcement at all. What Sony has done is they've iterated fast. They've put out new model after new model after new model and constantly are improving that and pushing the envelope. Kind of like what they did with PlayStation when they dropped Nintendo and decided to make the PlayStation themselves. They went all in and they won a market. And that's what they're trying to do here in the camera world. And to have a camera that shoots as fast as this does with the autofocus capabilities and the 4K video, I don't know, and the 5-axis in-camera stabilization. How are you going to find something else to beat that? Honestly, this is a tremendous offering. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below so I can hear all of your different thoughts. And don't forget to check out the Photo News Fix, which is a new series that I've been putting out, and it's about photo news. It's quick, it's easy, check it out. And when you have camera gear, oh look, my screen went off over there. When you have camera gear, check out My Gear Vault. Go to mygearvault.com. It's the best way to input, organize, and protect your gear, and it's absolutely free. It's on iOS right now, and it's coming for Android in June. All I ask, guys, is if you have an iOS device, go download it and try it out because it is absolutely free, and it's my app. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya. My Gear Vault. Input, organize, protect. Download now for free at mygearvault.com or the Apple App Store. Coming soon to Android.